welcome back to DekuDabiHawks. This is Hephaestus, chapters 8 through 10, read by DekuDabiHawks and written by @Let's_RK. Chapter 8, Little Brothers Battle. Summary: Izuku and Toya use a sports festival as a date while they watch their little brothers battle it out. Izuku was so happy to be free from his prison of bandages. It was just in time for the sports festival to take place too. Toya was going to join him as a date at the festival. That was one of the two reasons he was so excited to be there. The other was to see Katsuki in action. He had an idea that Kat would make it pretty far, if not all the way to the final. Shoto was probably the same. Izuku had never offered internships before, after the sports fest, but he was going to this year. Katsuki would hound him for ages afterwards if he didn't. That meant he already had one intern without even watching a single part of the sports fest take place. "Are you going to take any interns this year, Toya?" the large blonde asked. He always forgot just how much bigger than Toya he really was, always forcing the other man to look up at him as he spoke. "I don't need to. If Shoto takes an internship with you, then he's already in an agency that houses 4 of the top 10 heroes." "That's very true. I really think that those two are the only 2 students we should offer internships to. We don't want to end up with half the hero course." Izuku would change his mind if there was anyone else, but they'd have to watch the event to find that out. Walking back up to their places in hero stands, taking their seats before where Keigo and Rumi were sitting as the obstacle course started, Izuku had to let out an impressed whistle as Shoto froze the floor over, many of the non-1A students getting stuck. The 1A students, however, must have seen that exact thing coming. Katsuki was flying along to catch up with Shoto as the other boy used his ice to slide along the course faster. The 0-pointers were shown to be of little consequence as Shoto iced over the robots at an unbalanced angle. Izuku could see that plan. The ice would melt and the robots in their current positions would end up blocking the rest of the students from catching up to him quickly. Katsuki was also doing extremely well as he continued to use his explosions to blast himself along close behind Shoto. "It seems like our brothers are doing well then," Toya drawled, sounding bored. Izuku understood where he was coming from. Shoto and Katsuki were battling for first. Battling for first was a no-brainer bet for the entire event, not just that one. As the sports festival continued on, it really started to feel as if the whole event was blending into one giant blur of time. That was until the 1v1's tournament, where he did find an interesting gem that he wanted to send an offer to. Although Hitoshi was in his class of heroics and class 1A, he had never done too much to stand out. Izuku wanted to see just what he would be able to get out of the boy in an internship situation. "Toya, I want to send an offer to Shinzo-kun too." "Oh, the brainwashing Quirk? That could be an interesting one for our agency, but I think it could help him out quite a large amount," Toya hummed, looking at the purple-haired teen as he fought against the copy kid. Izuku only partially paid attention to the fights that Katsuki, Shoto, or Hitoshi weren't part of. Hitoshi had won his fight against Monoma. It hadn't been difficult to get the blonde to start talking. "Fucking hell, Sho," he heard whispered out from beside him. Toya's little brother had smacked Sarah with ice and fire combined as soon as Memory had shouted start. The tapirs are having no time to even get an attack off. Katsuki against Uraraka was a very fun and fair match to watch. Izuku commented the girl's attitude for never giving up no matter how much Katsuki threw at her. However, the most interesting match came in the final, as Katsuki and Shoto were going at each other. The powerful explosions of his little brother colliding with the ice and fire of Toya's brother. Izuku saw Toya stand up and move towards the edge of the box they were sitting in. Kat and Sho had stopped fighting for a minute, just standing there staring at each other. Oi! You two get a room! I fuck each other. This is for fighting! Izuku had to suppress a massive snort at that. He loved Toya so damn much. Kissing the white head as he sat back down beside him. The moment slightly ruined by Keigo leaning over and whispering, What was it you just said about getting a room? Izuku wasn't going to bother responding to that. He was used to Keigo's flirting game. As one last huge explosion rang out the arena, Shoto just out of bounds with a large grin on his face and Katsuki standing tall in the ring. Izuku felt a large swell of happiness and pride build up inside, and before he knew it, he was yelling into the deathly quiet arena. Let's fucking go, Cat! Unlucky Shoto! Izuku bellowed, his deep raspy voice carrying around the arena. The dual blinding grins he and Shoto received in kind as they stood watching, proud as their brothers were rewarded with first and second, was worth every second of hardships they'd gone through to get here. Hephaestus and Prometheus would do anything to protect their brothers and each other. Chapter 9. Welcome to Olympus. Katsuki was thrilled to see the internship offer from his brother and his list of options. He had no reason to read any further or even consider any of the other offers. He was choosing Izuku without a doubt. It seemed like Ozawa-sensei knew that from what he said as he stood back at the front of the class. Some of you will already have an idea of who you want to choose as your internship. Just write who it is, and I'll sign them off. If you're still unsure, then I'm free to give advice on who I think will help the most. The blonde wasted little time writing down Hephaestus on his form. He'd never seen his brother's agency in person, and he was excited for the prospect of being inside it. He knew he would have some company. Shoto was going to choose the same agency whether it was under Izuku or Toya. He didn't mind that much at all, though. Over the sports fest and the small time that passed after it, he was finding that he quite liked spending time with the dichromatic teen. Are you coming to my brother's agency then, Shoto? Katsuki turned around in his seat to ask the other. Yes, Toya didn't send an offer, so I'm choosing your brother. Shoto replied with a smile. Katsuki thought it made sense to why Shoto's brother wouldn't offer him an internship. If Izuku offered the internships to both of them, then it would work out just like they wanted to anyway, since they were hero partners in the same agency. He, along with Shoto, got up and headed towards Aizawa to get him to sign off their internships. Katsuki was hardly surprised at the unfazed expression on the Raven's face as he took the forms, signing them both without reading them over at all. Both of you need to do your best to learn as much as you can while at this agency. Izuku may be your brother, but Hephaestus has never offered internships for this year. He even sent out 3 offers. I don't know if the third will join you. Aizawa spoke to them both. Just as they were about to turn around to head back to their seats, the mystery third offer was revealed. Hephaestus too? Wasn't sure if he would accept his offer. It's not every day you receive an offer from the number 6 hero, so of course I'm going to choose him. The tired jaw of Shinzo grabbing his attention. You're coming with us? Katsuki was actually happy about that. He wouldn't be admitting that to the purple-haired boy's face, though. Yeah, learning from some of this country's top heroes isn't an opportunity I was going to turn down. A day later found the 3 teens being met by Hawks at the school. That was fucking cool if Katsuki had anything to say about it. He knew that other hero had stopped by on their first heroics lesson and had also flirted a bit with his brother, but being led by the hero to one of the largest agencies in Japan was something entirely different. Alright, fledglings, off we go. I'll just warn you that some of the training sessions can get quite intense. Katsuki had no issues believing that. His brother had held off 2 strong villains at the same time while protecting the injured Aizawa and all the students. Toyo's training was insane too. He could only imagine what it was like when the 4 heroes sparred together. They'd been walking for about half an hour when they reached it. The building was huge. Katsuki was gaping up at the agency. How anyone got around the place without getting lost was unknown to him. Hawks? Where are Hephaestus and the others? Shinzo asked the ring hero, the amazement in his voice obvious. They're inside. They always have morning spars together before they do anything else. Usually I join them, but today I got the pleasure of you 3 watching them. Hawks just grinned at them. Why is the agency this big? Shoto asked him in a stupor, eyes glancing around as he tried to take in everything he could. That's because this is technically a joint agency between Hephaestus, Mirko, and I, but we all consider it to be Izuku's agency. It houses sidekicks for all of us in it. Support departments, business departments, PR. We have multiple gyms to suit every need. There are accommodations on site, so you can live here if you want. There's a section of the building for police activities. We even have a huge library here. Izuku wanted it here as a way of relaxation if you wanted. Overall, the agency has pretty much anything you could want. Food? Do you think we'd have an agency without having food? There's a professional chef in here. The Bakugou personally designed the aesthetics for our costumes and the support department to build them. Katsuki was stunned. He never knew his parents did all that. They never told him either. Anyway, follow me this way. Hawks walked up to the doors, watching them swing open. Welcome, Hawks. What the fuck? Even the doors fucking talk? Katsuki blurted out. We have biometric readers installed in courtesy of David's shield, so that if any unknown party does enter the building, someone can come meet them. Heroes that visit get added to it, so they can enter if they need to. The 3 interns were already thoroughly impressed by the agency. Following Hawks through the door, they were once again left with their jaws dropped open at the inside of the agency. Welcome to Olympus. Chapter 10. Calm Before the Storm. Izuku was having a lot of fun. Rumi had tapped out and gone to get some food. Now it was just him and Toya fighting it out now. Fighting against his boyfriend always gave him such a large adrenaline rush. He fought alongside him so much that they knew almost everything about each other's fighting styles. You've got to try harder than that, Toya. The other man was smirking as he tried to sweep Izuku's feet, followed up by a flame-covered fist to his face. Izuku was wise to his plan, using a minor explosion to knock Toya's hand to far up and jumping over the leg sweep. He decided to aim for a palm to the solar plexus. That would knock the air out of Toya. Toya was fast to get to his stance, back into a solid attack and defense. Izuku was going to have a hard time getting his strike through to his body. Maybe a well-placed explosion could knock him off balance. Both men were so engrossed in their spar that they hadn't even noticed Keigo enter the room with the 3 interns. the hero watching on with the tint of red to his face, and the students with nothing but awe on their faces. The red tint on Keiko's face blooming into a furious blush as Izuku finally managed to get Toya pinned to the mat, Toya leaning up to press his lips firmly to the large blondes. Izuku was lost in the feeling of Toya kissing him that he only became aware of the other 4 occupants inside the gym when Katsuki awkwardly cleared his throat. Shit. Izuku heard Toya snort under him. With his reaction to seeing another of their friends stood there with 3 students. All 3 had matching blushes on their face, while Keiko was at least a couple shades darker. I guess that gives teaching assistant a whole new meaning. Shoto's teasing voice washed over the 2 heroes. I guess when you get back with Mini Blonde over there, you'll finally understand. Toya shot back at his brother. Izuku and Toya quickly pulled themselves up off the floor after that exchange. Right, we're just going to go out on a patrol and then we'll see where we go from there. Keiko had been called to a different agency, to a different emergency, leaving the group of 5 to go out on the first official patrol the students had been on. Remember guys that you use your hero names while we're out on duty. There wasn't much attention going on around the agency. There never usually was. Not many petty criminals or villains were stupid enough to do it around Olympus. Are all patrols this fucking boring? Katsuki groaned out. Calm down, Vulcan. There's more to being a hero than catching the villains. Katsuki could only smile at the pout. Izuku could only smile at the pout Katsuki let onto his face at that. They were all quickly finished their patrol, and heading back towards the Olympus agency when Izuku got a call from Keiko. It was bad from what he was getting told, and Hosu was needing help desperately. Prometheus, we're going to Hosu now. What's going on? That's the sergeant. The hero killer is there, and a bunch of Nomu like the one we fought at the USJ are destroying the city. Izuku spoke calmly. Okay, it looks like the 3 of you will be getting into the action far earlier than we would have hoped. Izuku was worried. Ida had gone to Hosu to intern with Manuel from the information Shoto had given him, and Stain had injured his brother. It seemed so obvious now that he had thought about it. He should have noticed sooner, but there was no point on dwelling on the past. He'd just have to look at helping the teen out when they reached Hosu. The city would just have to hold on until then. That was chapters 8 through 10 of Hephaestus. Thank you for listening. Sorry if my voice isn't that good. Again, sickness. Yeah, sleepy. Anyway, have a nice day, guys, or night, evening. Again, okay, yeah. Bye-bye.